Hello, everybody, and welcome to Virtual Travel Escapes. I'm Rhonda Svihan, the Leisure Manager, and my co-host today is Julie Bekdash. Hello, Julie.
Hi, Rhonda, and hi, everyone. Welcome.
If you've joined us in any of our previous webinars over the last several months, or you're new today, welcome and thank you so much for joining us. With the world currently really inaccessible to us these days physically, we can still continue to dream. So we are showcasing a variety of different destinations and experiences around the world in hopes that maybe it might inspire you guys to think of where you might want to go to next. And I really think today, I don't know, I'm kind of excited about today, and I think you are too, Julie. I think
Yeah.
today is going to be one of those spots that you're definitely going to want to add to your bucket list. So before we get involved in today's presentation, I just have a couple of housekeeping items. If you've missed any of our previous webinars, we are recording all of them. So you'll find them on the Paul Travel website. So that's paultravel.com/webinars. Next week, we're actually going to be taking a little bit different turn. We're heading into the Middle East, and we're going to be showcasing Israel. So that's February 11th. So if you're interested, please register for that. Today's presentation, if you have any questions at all, definitely put them in the Q&A box. Julie's going to monitor them throughout the presentation today. And once it's finished, there's an opportunity that she'll ask your questions on your behalf. So please, we'd love to hear from you guys. Ask away, any questions, feel free, don't be shy. And maybe you guys have been to Tahiti and you've got a great experience or want to make a comment, you can comment, put it in the chat box. That would be really great. So I know we're all in the middle of winter and it is a chilly one right now out in Edmonton for sure. I know we've got a few people joining us from out east and it's probably pretty chilly out there too. But I think today is a perfect day to kind of sit back and visit paradise. In my opinion, Tahiti and the islands are one of the most, beautiful and romantic places on earth. Really, I'm sure, Julie, you'd probably agree with that since you've had a chance to visit yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they're so amazing, really. And I feel that aboard Paul Gauguin is one of the best ways to really kind of immerse yourself in the Polynesian feel of the islands and really sit back and have such amazing service and food. It truly is a trip of a lifetime, and it's such an amazing way to see this beautiful, spectacular place in the world. Really, really is. Before I introduce our wonderful guest today, I just wanted to share a little bit in one of my experiences. I was really, really lucky to go with a group of friends and family. And that's one thing I love about Paul Gauguin. You don't, because Tahiti's kind of known as being romantic and the honeymoon destination. On board the ship, you don't have to be a couple. You can go with your friends and family, which I did, and we had such an amazing experience. But it was just a memory that I have is sitting back early. It was early morning. I got up. I'm on the back of the ship. I'm having a little bite to eat. I'm just waiting for my scuba dive excursion, and I'm by myself, and I'm watching these humpback whales. They're breaching in the ocean, and the backdrop was the beautiful mountains of Moorea, and listening to all the roosters crowing. It was just so magical and so peaceful that I just keep being transported back there when I think of it. It's just such an amazing experience. And I must say, the dive that I did that day, I'm in the dive boat ready to get in, and the dive master saying, "Okay, Rhonda, get in. The whales are breaching right over here to the left of me, and there's shark fins all around the boat." And I'm like, "Okay, let's go." It was such an amazing experience. So I'm so thrilled today to be introducing Vicky Lubyk. She is a director with Paul Gauguin she's the director of sales for Canada. Hi, Vicky. We've been so lucky to have you with us today. And I know Vicky will share in her passion and her enthusiasm for travel and her knowledge of this amazing cruise line. I know all of us at Paul Travel have known Vicky for many, many years, and I've been very blessed and lucky to have even traveled with her on a ship that she had represented a few years ago with Silver Sea. So that was a lot of fun. So I'm really
Yes,
happy
me
that you're
too.
joining us, Vicky.
Yeah, there's a lot of stories there. I forgot about that.
Fun stories.
Yeah.
Stories to be told around a glass of wine someday.
Yeah, exactly. It's great.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us. I know we're really, really happy to have you here with us today and sharing and everything Paul Gauguin.
Well, it's my pleasure. Absolutely.
Yeah. So take it away. And
oh, okay. I thought you were.
yeah.
I thought you had a screen you were showing to start off with as I was waiting.
No, I'm not gonna. No,
Okay.
I've got nothing. So
Okay.
you can share your presentation.
All right,
And
I will. Let me just get. It'll take me 2 seconds here. So, good afternoon, everyone. I think it's afternoon for everyone that's on the call today.
yeah.
And yeah, I'm in Calgary, so it's cold here too. I arranged that specifically so that we'd have the chilly weather. So when you saw these amazing pictures, you'd want to be traveling to the islands with us. Um, Rhonda and Julie did mention they've both been to French Polynesia, and Leslie Paul has been to French Polynesia as well, and on Paul Gauguin Cruises, so they can certainly answer any questions for you. The one thing I can tell you, anyone who has ever been will tell you it's more beautiful than any picture you've ever seen. It's like words cannot describe this destinations, and pictures just aren't enough. But of course, in this next 40 minutes, I'm going to try and talk to you about French Polynesia and show you some amazing pictures. I can tell you, anyone who's ever been, when I'm doing live presentations, they're always nodding because they absolutely agree and have these great stories, very much like Leslie did. So what I thought I'll do, I'll start off talking a little bit about the islands themselves as a destination. And then of course, I have a couple of videos that I like to include. Sometimes on Zoom, there's a bit of a lag. So we'll see if there's a problem with the videos. It depends on your internet speed. They're just short little videos, so I might move on kind of quickly on the videos. And then I'm going to talk about why Paul Gauguin Cruises. And, first of all, Tahiti and French Polynesia. French Polynesia is the official name of the islands, but often we refer to them as the islands of Tahiti, which is a little confusing because one of the islands is called Tahiti, right? Well, there are 118 islands, and French Polynesia actually consists of 5 different archipelagos. The 4 that we sail into, or the destinations that we have, are the Society Islands, and I'll actually go through the itineraries as we go through. But just know the flight into Papeete is an 8.5 hour direct nonstop flight from Los Angeles. And that's on Air Tahiti Nui, and they have all Dreamliner aircraft by this time as well. So Tahiti's far closer than a lot of people think sometimes. Sometimes there's confusion with Tahiti and Fiji. They're thinking that they're close destinations, but Fiji's actually, from Tahiti, Fiji's the same distance as Calgary to Toronto. So, 4,000 kilometers, it's a long distance away. But many things about these islands are very special. But one of the things really, especially I think at these times, I'm sort of tired of some of the words like social distancing, but I do have to tell you that this destination, for it, social distancing does come naturally, just because there are so few people generally in the islands. To give you an idea, the entire population is 180,000 people out of all of these 118 islands. And for example, Hawaii is 4.1 million people. And also, did you know Tahiti in a year receives the same amount of tourists as Hawaii does in just 7 days? So that really kind of tells you all about it. It's just a beautiful, unspoiled paradise. Now, often people will ask me, what's the best time of year to go? Just know it's always warm. It's always right around 30 degrees Celsius year round, and very little fluctuation actually in temperature. The biggest difference is rain. So we do get more rain from about the end of October till about the end of February. But typically what will happen is it'll be absolutely beautiful out, and then all of a sudden you'll get a half-hour torrential rain, and then it'll clear off, and then you'll have a couple of days no rain, and then same thing, you'll get a bit of rain. It's really unusual to have multiple days of rain, but it's not impossible. So I do kind of tell folks, if it would absolutely spoil your vacation to get any rain at all, then maybe consider traveling outside of those months. Now, for most Canadians, they travel to French Polynesia in the first quarter of the year, so January, February, March, or the fourth quarter of the year. And I guess that's kind of obvious because that's when we have our cold weather. And for another comparison to Hawaii, Tahiti gets more days of sunshine than Hawaii does. And most people travel to Hawaii at that time of the year as well. So it's always warm. We just get a little bit more rain sometimes of the year. So I'd like to start off with a little bit of history of the South Seas. Just to give you an idea, 6,000 years ago, the people in the Solomon Islands, they settled in Tonga and Samoa and Fiji and Vanuatu. But it was almost 2,000 years it took before they were able to adapt their boats, the sailboats, so they were able to actually move on to Hawaii and into French Polynesia because the winds were quite strong, so they were unable to navigate them. And a couple of important dates in history: in 1767, Tahiti was claimed by the British, and then in 1880, it was claimed by France. Well, it became a French colony. In 1891, our namesake, who is French Impressionist painter Paul Gauguin, he went on his self-imposed exile into the islands of Tahiti. And this, of course, is where most of his art became very famous. And this is where he said, you know, it's believed that he did his best artwork as well. Well, the French, or the societies of the South Seas, were very much affected by the influx of Christianity and the British and the French. And they actually disallowed the Maoris, or the temples. They would not allow tattoos. They were banned. They didn't even allow dance in the islands, which, you know, you might know now is such an important part of the history and the culture. It's very much a way that they express themselves. I was actually surprised to learn that it wasn't until the 1950s that the art of dance really found its way back into the islands. And with that came a rise in tourism as well. Well, thankfully now the islands are the perfect blend of Tahitian culture along with the lax sort of energy that you would feel in a French shoreline. I'm not sure if you've heard the word mana before, but the people in Tahiti, sorry, I was going to say Society Islands, in French Polynesia, well, they're very much immersed in a culture rich with storytelling. And long before it was popular, where people would write things down in words, everything was expressed, stories were expressed through song and through dance. And this, as I was saying, was a very important part of the culture. The Polynesian people believe that there is a supernatural power called mana. And I have a real quick video here. I just wanted to show you that will explain a little bit more of it. But they believe that everyone has some mana in them, but certain people are able to express more of it. And that's usually the chiefs in the villages. It would be historically.
Many sides to the islands of Tahiti. There is big and small, day and night. There is warm and there is cool. In our islands, you can.
Remember when I said sometimes on Zoom we have problems with lag? I'm really sorry. You know, it's so funny. I just tried this before we got on the call, and of course it shows absolutely fine. But it's a 2-minute video. I do have another one later in the presentation, which I am going to share as well. I'm going to try and share at least, but just know I'll send the videos to Rhonda and Julie afterwards, and they can send them out to you if you're interested. But Don't you just love technology, right? Well, why Paul Gauguin Cruises? The secret to our success, and we are extremely successful, we've sailed in French Polynesia for more than 20 years. It's the size of our vessel. It's large enough to offer a luxury experience. It's almost 20,000 tons. It's small enough to get close into the destination like this. We have only 332 guests maximum ever on board the vessel. And the ship was purposely built for French Polynesia. It was built with a shallow draft. So the draft is the amount of ocean underneath the water. And that gives us the ability to get close into the islands and over the lagoons like this. So it means when you're tendering into the destination, you have less time that you're on the tenders. And like you can see in this amazing picture here, when we anchor in port, you are this close into the islands. And so it's really a time saver and just beautiful to be so close to the islands like this. Well, I guess I did say these are unprecedented times, and certainly I hope that you and your loved ones are well and everyone is healthy. And we're filming this we're doing this presentation beginning of February of 2021. So if you're looking at a recording later on, just know that things possibly could change by whenever you're watching it. But Tahiti was open to tourists from the middle of July of last year. It actually just closed to tourism this week. And really, it's just because the number of cases of COVID have increased throughout the world. And as a precautionary thing, this is what they've done. Now, just so you know, we sailed many sailings right until the fall, right until the end of October, beginning of November, and successful. We had no instances on a lot of sailings that we had. But what happened is, again, as the cases started to increase, we decided just to be cautious. And Pana, who is our owners out of France, they are the only luxury owned French cruise line, they decided to cease operating or pause operating for a while. But what's happened now is we're in dry dock. So originally we were supposed to be doing a dry dock in May of last year, but now we're in dry dock. I was really hoping to have brand new pictures of what the staterooms, because we're doing lots of renovations on the ship. But I only have a couple of artist renditions that I'll share with you. But just know any protocol that the CLIA, the Cruise Line Association, the World Health Organization, we are collaborating with one of the world's leading centers in field of infectious disease for the health protocols that we have on board, and they far exceed anything that is being recommended. So like I say, we've had many, many successful sailings, and we are sailing back into Tahiti on April 7th, actually, of this year. Well, we know that because it is unusual times, you need the flexibility to adapt your travel plans as conditions change. So right now, for a limited time, we are offering stress-free booking policies in that your delayed final payment is only due 30 days before you travel. And that's as long as you book before the end of March of this year, so March of 2021, and travel before the end of April 2022. And you can pay 30 days, the final payment 30 days before you go. And you can decide for any reason you don't want to go. We will offer you a future cruise credit, the amount of your deposit, which is 25% of your booking. And you can apply that towards your a future booking with us. So I hope that gives you the confidence that you don't need to worry about booking in advance. I will tell you, we've just announced in the last few weeks 2022, and I am just so thrilled to say that the belief that there will be pent-up demand is absolutely proving true right now, because we're seeing an amazing amount of bookings in the last few weeks. Well, the ship itself, like I said, is 332 guests. It has a 1 to 1.5 crew to guest ratio. So that's just telling you that we have an incredibly high level of service on board. So any other luxury cruise line that you've been on, that would be typical of the type of crew to guest ratio that we have, that they would have as well. Well, life on board, it's thanks to our all-inclusive pricing that our guests spend less time worrying about every little detail. So everything from your gourmet dining to your gratuities are included. We have multiple dining venues that are included as well. We even include all of the non-alcoholic beverages and alcoholic beverages in terms of top shelf liquors, great wine selections as well. And that's throughout the voyage. So it's not just during dinner time or whatever. It's the entire time you sail. So I think actually the easiest way to think about it is that the only thing we do not include are shore excursions. And I can give you plenty of suggestions on our shore excursions. But we do have 2 private retreat beach days as well, which I will show you, which very few people would do with private retreats or do a shore excursion on those days because they're so incredible. Before we started, Rhonda and I were talking about some experiences on the private beach, and it's just absolutely amazing. Well, the Gauguins are a troop of Polynesians we have on board, and they really are the heartbeat of this vessel. They are energetic and versatile, and they love to spend time with the guests. There is boys and girls, we call them the Gauguins and the Gaugans, and they greet you when you arrive. They're your hostesses. They love to sing and dance. They love to spend time with the guests, and they will do things like that. You see the headdress that she has here? That's called a hay. One evening when you come down to dinner, we have the Tahitian blankets out, and they're just covered in fresh flowers. And you can sit with the Gauguins, and they will show you how to make your own hays or leis like this. All kinds of crafts like this as well. And they do love to sing and dance, and they'll do everything from teach you the Tahitian language to teach you how to dance as well. So they love to spend time with our guests on board. This is where I would love to have our new pictures of the vessel. So we'll have, and maybe I'll have some artists or some pictures I can send to Rhonda, and she can follow up with you afterwards if you're interested. But we do have multiple dining venues. As I said, La Veranda is the first one on the top. It's open for breakfast and lunch. And then in the evenings, it becomes a really cool French-inspired restaurant. We have a celebrity chef, Jean-Pierre Vagato, and he oversees the menu. He's a Michelin star chef from France. And this one in evenings is a degustation menu. So it's little tastings. If you're a foodie, this is a great place to go in the evenings. It's one of my favorite places in the day because it has a beautiful outdoor al fresco dining area where you can sit out and see the marina from the back of the ship as well. And then at the bottom of the picture, there is La Grill, and it's open for breakfast and lunch. And then in the evenings, it's a Polynesian fusion restaurant. So it's a great outdoor area here. And just as a tip, in Bora Bora, in the evening, we take it out under the stars, and you can dine by the pool in Bora Bora. Now, all of our dining venues are open dining, so you dine where you want, who you want, when you want. Great for all kinds of folks. If you just want to have a table for 2 the entire time, that's great. But when you arrive into the dining room, the maitre d' will greet you and ask if you'd like to dine with other people. So if you're single and you like to dine with other people, or you're just a little bit more social and you like to dine with other people one evening, we'll set you up with other people like that. Now, the main dining room that we have here, it has international cuisine. We encourage you to have soup, salad, an appetizer, and entree. So lots and lots of choices, and of course, open bar. And the food is beautiful. You want to take a picture of everything we serve you, and it tastes wonderful as well. And then if that isn't enough choices of dining, you could have in your stateroom or your suite, course by course. We have room service, an extensive menu for room service. We have an early risers breakfast as well, from about 5:30 or 6 in the morning, with pastries and cappuccino, and there's a great smoothie bar there as well. So lots of opportunities for you to dine throughout the vessel. Our crew are amazing. I know every cruise line tells you they have great crew, but I encourage you to ask the girls about the crew on board, because we absolutely receive rave reviews. They will remember your name. They'll remember how you had your steak cooked the night before and that you had strawberries on your cereal. They just love to anticipate guests' needs, and they're incredibly friendly. Many of them have been on the ship for more than 10 years. So they've been with us for a very long time. Now, we do have full performances every evening. So it's usually our artistic, local type of performances. This is the Gauguins, for example, doing a performance, lots of singing and dancing. It could be a cappella singer or the hip swing dancers like this. We do a crew show actually on every sailing as well. It's actually my favorite one because our crew are amazingly talented. In addition, we also bring on different acts in the islands as well. And this is a troupe of children that come on in Huahine, and they dance as well. And they're just absolutely amazing. So lots of cultural dance performances that you'll discover on the ship. Now, a lot of people are worried that French Polynesia is all sun and sand, but we've received excellent reviews too on the lecturers we have on board. So every sailing will have marine biologists, whale and dolphin experts, anthropologists, and they're just easygoing, great people. You can go to a lecture and then have lunch with them and then do an excursion with them if you'd like, right? They will spend time with the guests on board. And then so every sailing has a variety of people, but then we do have guest hosts as well. Lots of wine and food, photography. I was on with an amazing magician one time as well. So lots of different themes. And we know quite far in advance who the various guest hosts will be. And so the girls can let you know that as well. Now, this is my artist renditions of our staterooms and suites. So this is what they will be looking like in the next few months when we come back. But all of the carpets will be changed like this, and drapes and everything as well. But every stateroom we have, they start at just over 200 square feet without a balcony. Now, 70% of the ship is balcony. Trust me, you want to have a balcony in Tahiti. You want to open the balcony in the morning, smell the fresh air. As I showed you, you're so close into the islands. Order your breakfast, or in the afternoon, order your appetizers or a pre-dinner cocktail. There's a little mini bar in the stateroom as well. All of the staterooms have beautiful bedding and bathrooms and linens. Our veranda staterooms all start at 239 square feet, and our suites owner suites are right around 600 square feet. So nice large balconies there as well. So all of the staterooms have full bathtubs. There's only 2 that have showers, and only showers, and they're huge showers. So lots of variety and choices for you in terms of the type of stateroom you'd like. We do have a spa. Elgotherm is from France, and it's absolutely amazing products that they have in the spa. We have a marina, as I mentioned, that comes off the back of the ship and it dips down, and then we have paddleboarding and kayaking are included as well. And when we're in our private beach as well, we take the paddleboards and the kayaks. If you've never been, you might not know, the water is usually, we're in lagoons, right? We get in close into the lagoon like this. So typically the water is calm like this, and it's very easy to paddleboard. It's a great place to learn how to paddleboard because there isn't a lot of waves generally. So the marine life in French Polynesia is absolutely amazing. It's renowned around the world for just having some of the most beautiful coral. And we offer many different ways to see the underwater world as well as above water world in French Polynesia. One of the things that's popular, we always have popular for snorkeling, and we do have the fins on board now, but we're requesting people bring their own masks right now just for sanitary reasons, but we sell them in the shop as well right now as well. But we do have the Zodiac that will take you out if you're a scuba diver. So the diving is an additional fee, but it starts at about $100 for a 1-tank dive. And the great thing about this is that we have dive masters right on board the ship, and they'll take you from port to different destinations. So if you're a diver, once you're a dive master, you've been with them 1 or 2 times, right? They understand your comfort level. You just get to know each other, right? So it's a great way to be able to see many destinations and do many different types of dives. And the great thing is when you get back on the ship, we supply this scuba gear. When you get back on the ship, you just hand the scuba gear at the marina, and then you just go back to your stateroom, so you don't have to worry about lugging all your gear around as well. This is a highlight absolutely for our guests, is our private beach called Motumahana, and Taha is known for its vanilla. Tahiti is known for 2 things, cultured pearls and vanilla. And on Taha here, we have a beach day where we have a lavish barbecue. There's everyone's drinking out of coconuts, which is really fun. And if you're tired of the coconuts, you can see in the bottom right corner here, we have the floating bar. The water here is 30 degrees year round. It's crystal clear, so bath water warm. The one side of the island, you can walk out 20 minutes out into the ocean and you're up to your chest in bath water, warm water. It's just absolutely. There's on the other side of the island, there's drift snorkeling, which is really great. So if you're a lazy snorkeler like me, you just lay at the top of the reef and it kind of shoots you down to the other end of the island. Then you walk back up and you can do it again. So this is a really fun day in Taha. And then also in Bora Bora, we have a private beach. And the only thing on our private beach here are sand and trees, and we bring the paddle boards and the kayaks, and we have a little bar there as well too. But you have the amazing view of Mount Otamanu that is in the background. And can you see the different colors of in the ocean here? They say Bora Bora or Tahiti has a painter's palette of blues in the ocean, and you can definitely see that here. This is iconic selfie picture taking day here with the Mount Otamanu here. And again, absolute highlight for our guests. So really quickly, I'm just going to go through the itineraries and just give you an idea of what we do and what there is to see in these itineraries that we do. On half of our itineraries in a year are our 7-night itinerary where we start in Papeete. So Papeete is the economic center. There's a great market that's been there for over 100 years. It's about a 10-minute walk from the ship where we dock in Papeete. And it has all kinds of things that the locals would buy, but this is a great place to buy your cultured pearls or any kind of handicrafts there as well. And when you get into the island, there is really nice waterfalls, very lush. You can see some nice black sand beaches as well. And then the next day we move on to Huahine. Can you believe look how clear this water is? You can see the stingrays in the water. Huahine it has the most archaeological sites in French Polynesia. It has stonefish traps. It has blue-eyed eels. So and it's also just pristine, beautiful, beautiful, just powder white sugar sand beaches. And then we overnight in Bora Bora on this itinerary. So if you've never been, the pictures you have in your mind, I know, are Bora Bora or Moorea. Those are the two kind of iconic places. And one of the excursions you can see here we do with swimming with the stingrays. This is my all-time favorite excursion. One time I did it, actually not last time, but the one time I did it, we went out on a small boat. Our excursions are always small groups of people, so you're on a boat with maybe 10 people. We saw whales, we saw a manta ray. We swam actually above a manta ray, and then you get into the ocean and you're up to your chest in this bathwater, warm water with stingrays and reef sharks and lemon sharks, and just the most amazing coral. And it's a great beach day there as well. It's one of the most amazing things to do. But you can see you can do the snuba things as well. Lots of different ideas of things that you can do above land. Whether you have the trucks that take you up into the island. Bora Bora was destination. The U.S. was in Bora Bora in the Second World War, and there's typical things you can see, like these cannons from the Second World War. So lots and lots of things that you can see when you're on land as well. And we overnight there, as I said. So you have 2 full days in Bora Bora and 2 full days in Moorea. Moorea is known because it has 8 beautiful mountain peaks. It's incredibly lush like this. And it comes down to beautiful, beautiful white sand beaches. So again, 2 full days in Bora Bora. The e-bikes, you can take e-bikes up to the Belvedere, which is the lookout point. In the bottom left corner, you can see where the ship docks or anchors in between in this beautiful bay. The e-bikes, for example, I did that excursion last time, and it was about $60 for 2.5 hours for an excursion. But the girls can get you all kinds of ideas on the different excursions that we do and the pricing as well. There is a dolphin sanctuary in the Intercontinental as well, where you can learn about dolphins and swim with them very briefly. You get to kind of touch them a little bit. You spend time with them, learn lots and lots about the dolphins there as well. And so then all these itineraries, I'm not going to go through those destinations again because we have those destinations on most of our itineraries. But then from there we add on. So we have a 10-night itinerary into the Tuamotus. And this itinerary of 1 day at sea, days at sea are just great for kicking back, relaxing, eating excellent food and just kind of taking it easy, going to lectures and just enjoying your time on board the ship. And then here we have Fakarava, and Fakarava is a UNESCO World Biosphere. It's one of only 7 in the world. This destination, they're all atolls, so low islands, and the Tuamotus is great for scuba diving and snorkeling. But there is also a cycling excursion that you can do. You can just sorry, my thing's by jumping here. Cycling trip that you can do. You can see the picture at the top there, and you can do. It's totally flat, so you don't have to be really energetic to be able to cycle in Fakarava. Great snorkeling and scuba diving there, in addition to Rangiroa, which is the 2nd largest lagoon in the world. There are mammals and fish that come because of the currents, the warm currents, that are only found in this part of the world. So some amazing things to see there. Cook Island itinerary as well, we we incorporate some of those aspects. You get a little bit of Sidey Islands into the Tuamotus, and then we have, Sidey Islands, and then into Aitutaki, which is, Aitutaki is so flat you can see the ocean from anywhere on the island. And then versus Rarotonga, which is extremely mountainous, very lush, and then beautiful, beautiful white sand beaches. So kind of in a way, a little bit like Moorea. But what you get in the Cook Islands is the culture of the New Zealand Maori combined with the French Polynesian culture. And it's a very popular itinerary for Canadians. A completely different itinerary. As much as you think it's all South Pacific and it's very similar, it really isn't. The Marquesas are so remote, they have their own ecosystem. So there's plants and animals that live in the Marquesas that aren't anywhere else in the world. In Fatu Hiva, this is here you can see beautiful mountains, very lush. There's actually more wild horses in the Marquesas than there are people. And they have their own language. They have their own culture. This is where the art of tattoo originated too. And in the Marquesas, you'll see very rugged coastline. So the Marquesas actually doesn't really have great beaches. I mean, many other things to offer, but it's not all about beaches. So if that's your thing, you're all about the beaches, maybe this isn't the itinerary for you. But no, you get the beaches on the beginning part of that itinerary as well. And then once a year, we sail into Fiji. So we start in the Society Islands, and then we cross the international date line and sail into Tonga. Tonga is the only destination in the South Pacific that wasn't colonized by the Europeans. So it has its own monarchy still. And if you're a destination collector, it's a very difficult one to get to. So you should add that one to your bucket list. And then on to Fiji, where you can see the firewalkers, I guess that's a word, the people that initially started the firewalking. The sugar fields you can see in Fiji. Now, Fiji is the most modern area after Australia and New Zealand in the South Pacific. So here you have great culture, there's museums and nightlife. And on our 13-night itinerary, we also include Bequa Island. That's actually where firewalking began. So you can see the pictures where we do excursions where you can see the people with the firewalking. So just to round up, I just want to just mention a couple of more things about being on board the vessel. This destination itself and the ship is very popular for folks that are celebrating a milestone birthday or anniversary. And we have a Polynesian blessing ceremony on board where we wrap the guests in this traditional Tahitian quilt, and the Gauguins, or the hotel director, will say a traditional prayer for them. It's really beautiful, and that's complimentary. There's also excursions that you could do where you can get a blessing ceremony in the islands if you'd like to as well. Our Moana Explorer program is for children, and we don't get a lot of children on board year round, but we do have children in July and August and in December, and we have a hands-on interactive program for them. And we allow children year round, but it's just certain sailings, July, August, and December. So if you look at or check with the girls, they'll be able to tell you which sailings these are. If these are families that would love to travel together, we get a lot of multi-generational travel, just so you know. But it's not families where they want to send the kids off to the rock climbing wall and the ice skating rink. It's people that want to be together and experience a destination. So maybe they want to discover the islands together rather than apart, I guess. Panal, as I mentioned, they are our owners, and they are building us 2 new ships in 2023. They will be 230 guests on board. Panal has, I've been in the travel industry for almost 40 years, it's embarrassing, and sailed on more than 70 cruises. I've loved every cruise line I've ever been on, every ship I've ever been on. But I sailed on the Le Champlain a year and a half ago. It's the most beautiful ship I've ever seen in my life. They're just absolutely amazing hardware. And like Paul Gauguin, we're going to have the marinas off back, but they are incredibly environmentally sensitive. So in port for up to 10 hours a day, the engines will be turned off. So they're going to be doing all kinds of really, cool things for the environment, because as you can imagine, preserving this pristine environment is so important. So we'll let you know more about that, as well as we do have details coming up on the new builds as well. And they will be sailing in French Polynesia, just so you know, they're intended for Tahiti as well. Lots of folks like to do extend their stays. The overwater bungalows are very popular. The one thing I would just say is Tahiti itself is, I mean, there's no other way to say it than it's actually quite an expensive destination. It's worth every penny, I promise you, but it's not the least expensive place in the world to go. So what I usually recommend is, if you want to stay in an overwater bungalow, do that before, or stay in Tahiti before you arrive on the ship, because it's really hard to go from this world where you're on the ship where, you know, everyone's offering you complimentary cocktails and lots of restaurants and, you know, everything is included and all that sort of a feel to suddenly you're paying a fair amount for your meals and your drinks and that sort of thing. So that's just kind of my recommendation, but either way, it's a great idea to spend a bit of time in the islands as well. Now, I always like to finish with pricing. Mainly because I've told you we're luxurious, and I've told you that we're all inclusive. One thing I didn't tell you is that we're very laid back as well, very informal in terms of the dress code, no formal nights ever on board. So we're luxury in terms of the food and the servers, but you don't have to bring your tuxedo to Tahiti, right? The gentlemen typically will wear a collared shirt and cotton pants and sundresses. That's kind of as dressed up as you really need to get on board. So our pricing that we are starting, this is what's our Canadian residence rate starts. This is our 2022. Our pricing actually in 2022, our lead-in is actually less than it was in 2021. That $3,700 includes your port charge. It also includes that flight out of Los Angeles. So that's flight out of Los Angeles is $1,600, right? So keep in mind that that's the flight transfers. If you require day rooms, if your flight arrives early, we include full day rooms for you as well. So I think people are traveling to far less exotic places and paying more. Now, you know, to be honest, that's an outside stateroom. And like I did suggest to you that you should have a balcony, and I think you should sail longer than 7 days as well and be in an owner suite. But so that is our front pricing. Right now, there's my favorite promotion of the year is our Take Your Sweetie to Tahiti. We do this every year. And we are offering an additional $100 per person shipboard credit if you book within by February 15th, and a box of chocolates, a special box of chocolates and sparkling wine at embarkation. So that's just a special thank you to say, to encourage people to sail to Tahiti or book a trip to Tahiti for their Valentine. I think this video is going to play. This is a real short one, but I'm just going to try and play.
French Polynesia waits for you with open arms. This isn't just a place.
Okay, I give up. I give up on the Zoom showing videos because it's amazing how often I try them in advance and everything works great. And then when we're live like this, they don't show. So I do want to apologize for that. But like I mentioned, the girls can share those videos with you. I'll send them to them afterwards as well. But I encourage you to look at. You know, I really hope to see you in French Polynesia and of course on board Paul Gauguin Cruises. And as I mentioned, we do have all of 2022 available as well. And I guess Meruru, I just want to say means thank you. And I do want to thank you. I appreciate Rhonda and Julie and Leslie Paul, of course, asking me to come join today. So Julie, do we have any questions?
I don't think we have any questions yet.
Really?
Yeah.
Is everyone asleep? Maybe everyone's asleep.
No, I just think we're all dreaming and just like in La La Land from those pictures and stories. Like you, I agree. Once you're there and you're smelling the flowers and you smell the coconut and you feel the warm breeze, it's just like you said, the pictures, you know, they're great, but once you're there, you'll really know what it's like. So that's amazing. And I just wanted to confirm, you said that there are pricing and your sailings are out all the way your schedule until the end of 2022 right now?
Correct, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay, perfect. And then just a question we do have here, thank you, is are there any, so say if somebody did want to extend their stay, are there any all-inclusives in the South Pacific? No. Yeah, so you can get them.
You know, we'll come back on that. I'm 99.9% certain there isn't, but it seems to me that maybe Jean-Michel Cousteau, I think in Fiji there's some resort. Oh, and I should say the Brando, right? We have Intercontinental Hotels owns the Brando. It's all inclusive. It's on the island of Tetiaroa. The Brando starts at about $4,000 a night. I actually have stayed there. It's the most amazing place, I promise. But it's other than that, there's not a lot of all inclusive.
We do like to include, like with the hotels, we can add either just a breakfast plan or a breakfast and dinner, or some have breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and that's really great because that way you know that cost ahead of time, and then you're just paying for drinks and incidentals and excursions. So that's one thing that we do like to do. But that's just another way to say, like, the Paul Gauguin cruises are so great because you know how much you're spending pretty much ahead of time, and it really is good value. So. Yeah,
if you did the comparison, which I know you guys do with clients all the time, and you looked at just the idea of you're seeing multiple destinations, so you don't have to fly to various islands. All your food, all your drinks are included. Like, to give you an idea, last time I was at the Intercontinental Hotel, it was $52 for a hamburger and a beer.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was good. It wasn't that great.
Right? Yeah.
So, and like I say, it's worth every penny. There's lots of places in the world that are fairly expensive, but when you look at the all-inclusive value, I think spend as much time as you can on the ship, and then if you want to do pre or post, add a few nights here and there as well.
Okay, good. Yeah, that's about it. I think everybody just wants to go, especially right now, and everyone's just in awe. So you did a fabulous presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And yeah, we just wish.
Well, you know what? It's I think now I honestly think that now we'll get some vaccines. We'll get people healthy again, and everyone's just really looking forward to getting back to paradise. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a perfect spot. So that's great. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Thanks, Vicky, and have a good afternoon, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us, and we hope to see you again next week.
Okay,
Take care, everyone.
Good night.
Bye.
Thanks
Bye.
again, Vicky. Thank you.